Hello, Trinity family. This is Pastor Dewar, and this is your Theology in 3. Today, I'd like to talk about weapons and warfare in the Bible. A difficult topic, I know, because there's a lot of conversation about love your enemies, do good to those who persecute you. A worthy conversation, but not what we're going to focus on today. Instead, I'd like to focus on a particular weapon and how that impacts how we read the biblical text. So I'd like to read from Joshua chapter 10. We'll look at verse 32. And the Lord delivered Lachish into the hands of Israel, which took it on the second day, and smote it with the edge of the sword, and all the souls that were therein, according to all that he had done to Libnah. Now, this is important because there's an idiom here, an idiom very specific to the Late Bronze Age. It's called the Late Bronze Age because bronze was the main material that they used to make weapons and tools. And so the idiom is, with the edge of the sword. Now here I have for you a replica. I made this replica out of wood a few years ago. This is the premier weapon of the Late Bronze Age. This is a khopesh, also called a sickle sword. Now the way that this is used is that you would use this to attack your enemy by slashing. Okay, so you would have the edge here, and you would cut with this edge, and that's how you would attack your enemy. Now, some of them also will have like a hook here, and this is used for pulling the shield away. So if you get close enough to your enemy, you got a shield up like this, you're attacking, you can grab the edge of their shield like this and pull it away from them and leave them exposed. And so most of the fighting was done by hacking and slashing. And so we see here that there's an idiom called the edge of the sword. And this means that you attacked and defeated and killed your enemies with the weapon, the main weapon, the khopesh, the sickle sword. You would hack and slash. Now, in the Iron Age, you end up with a different kind of weapon. You end up with a straight-sided sword. And it's because iron is a stronger material, and they learned how to smelt it and use it and forge it. And so in the Iron Age, starting sometime in the time of Judges, because we've got Ehud, the judge who makes a double-edged short sword that he attacks King Eglon with, he doesn't slash with that, he stabs with that. It's a different kind of weapon. And so this idiom, the edge of the sword, would be a very strange thing to use in the Iron Age as an idiom if you are speaking to people who don't know what this is, who don't see this on a regular basis. But to people who do use this and see this on a regular basis, it's a very fitting idiom. And this can help us because it helps us date the writing of Exodus and Joshua and the whole Torah. These first few books of Scripture are written in the Bronze Age because we see this idiom. And so sometimes you'll have a secular historian who will say something like, oh no, it had to have been written later. They're putting a low view on Scripture and that kind of thing. But in doing so, they ignore idioms like this one, the edge of the sword. And so there's these little clues scattered throughout the Bible that we are unfamiliar with because we live in a different time. And so this is why it's valuable to study the history, the archaeology. It's valuable to study the geography of the Bible. It's valuable to go to Israel, to walk the land, to see the things that are there. Because when we do, we then start unlocking some of these phrases and idioms that just glaze right past us. They go right past us because we're not familiar with them. This is why it's valuable to spend some time studying outside of just what the text says, but instead studying some of the history and the culture as well. I pray that you have a blessed rest of your day, that you continue to study and learn and grow, that you would see some of these idioms and these small phrases, and that your life would change and your reading of Scripture would change as a result. Have a good day.